Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Murali Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Dandot Pranams.
Dandot Pranam Prabhu.
Yes, audio, video, perfect. Thank you, Prabhu.
Perfect. Okay, va? Right, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Let us wait for the people to join.
Yeah, we'll wait for a minute, Prabhu. We already
Yes.
7:30.
Yeah.
You want me to share the screen for the sloka?
No, that's enough.
You will share, Prabhu? Wonderful.
Okay, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
You can say, share the screen, Prabhu.
I will share. Okay.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to the Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Today we have the privilege of having His Grace Murali Prabhu. He would be continuing with Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 8. Today will be verses 11 and 12. Prabhu, over to you.
Okay, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandot Pranam.
Dandot Pranam, Mataji. Dandot Pranams. Thank you for giving me an opportunity, Prabhuji. I'm thankful to you for purifying myself and just to read the purport of Srila Prabhupada. You are giving me a wonderful opportunity. Hare Krishna. I will start now. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naranjaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mutiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 8, text number 11 and 12. Subject Matron, Bharat Maharaj. Iti Kritaru Sanka Asana Sayanatana Snana Andishu Sakamriga Jahuna Snehanubandha Baddha Hidaya Asit. Iti, thus, Krita Anusanga, having developed attachment, Asana, sitting, Sayana, lying down, Athana, walking, Snana, bathing, Asana Adishu, while eating and so on. Saha Murha Jahuna, with the deer calf, Sneha Anubada, captivated by the affection, Hridaya is heart, Asit become. Translation and purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. There is no purport. Due to attachment for the deer, Maharaja Bharat lay down with it, walked about with it, bathed with it, and even ate with it. Thus his heart became bound to the deer in affection. Next verse, text number 12. Kusa kushuma samit palasa pala mulodakayani aharishyamano vrikshasala vrikatibhyo bayam asamshammono samano yadasaha harina kunakena vanam samavishati. Kusha, a kind of grass required for ritualistic ceremonies. Kushuma, flowers. Samit, firewood. Palasa, leaves. Phalamula, fruit and roots. Udakani, the water. Adishyamanam, manaha, desiring to collect. Vrikshasala, vrika, from the wolves and dogs. Adibhaya, and other animals, such as tigers. Bayam, fear. Asamshamana, doubting. Yatha, when. Saha, with. Harina, kunakena, the deer calf. Vanam, the forest. Samavishati, enters. Translation. When Maharaj Bharat wanted to enter the forest to collect kusha grass, flower, wood, leaves, fruits, roots, and water, he would fear that dogs, jackals, and tiger and other ferocious animals might kill the deer. He would therefore always take the deer with him when entering the forest. Purport. How Maharaja Bharat increased his affection for the deer is described herein. Even such an exalted personality as Bharat Maharaj, who had attained loving affection for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, fell down from his position due to his affection for some animal. Consequently, as will be seen, he had to accept the body of a deer in next life. Since this was a case of Bharat Maharaj, what can we say of those who are not advanced in spiritual life, but who become attached to cat and dogs? Due to their affection for their cats and dogs, they have to take some bodily forms in the next life unless they clearly increase their affection and the love of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Unless we increase our faith in Supreme Lord, we shall be attracted to many other things. That is the cause of our material bondage. Om Tasat. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Takshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sabidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamakyam Padati Padantikam Vandeham Sri Gurum Sri Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamcha Sri Rupam Sakarjadam Saganana Raghunathanvitam Samsajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagagana Lalita Sri Vishaka Vidamcha E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gobesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanutyude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Panchakalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhupye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pakshatade Satarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavanda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here we are discussing about Bharata Maharaj, how he left all his property, wealth, and his kingdom and queens. So many things he left and came to the forest and attracted and affectionate to a deer, which caused his further fall down to a next birth. He became a deer. So whatever the state of being, one remembers when he is quitting the body, that is the same thing he will attain in the end. That's what it is stated in Bhagavad Gita. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajate anta kalevaram tam tam mayevaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Whatever the state of being one remembers when he is quitting the body, Osana Pundi, the state he will attain without fail. That's what is stated. The process of changing one's nature at a critical moment of death is here explained. A person who at the end of the life quits his body thinking of Krishna attains the transcendental nature of Supreme Lord. But it is not true that a person who thinks something else, something other than Krishna, attains the same destination. This is a point we should note very carefully. How can one die in a proper state of mind? Maharaja Bharata, although a great personality, thought of deer at the end of his life. And so in the next life, he was transferred to the body of a deer. Although as a deer, he remembered the past activities, he had to accept that animal body. Of course, one's thought during the course of one's life accumulate to influence one's thought at the moment of death. Whatever throughout our life, whatever thinking, at the end of the life also same thing will continue. So this life creates one's next life. If one's present life, one lives in the mood of goodness and always think of Krishna, it is possible for one to remember Krishna at the end of one's life. That will help one to be transferred to the transcendental nature of Krishna. If one is transcendental, absorbed in Krishna's service, then in his next body, he will be transcendental spiritual, not material. Therefore, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare is the best process given by Srila Prabhupada and for successfully changing one's state of being at the end of one's life. So, further it is stated, who will get into all these problems? It is stated, Antavattu palam tesham, tat bhavati alpamedasham, devan deva ejo yanti, mad bhakta yanti mamapi. Why it is happening? What it is happening? Men of small intelligence worship the demigods, and their fruits are limited and temporary. Those who worship demigods go to the planet of demigods, but my devotee ultimately reach to my supreme planet. How we got to be in Krishna conscious is explained here. And somebody with a lesser intelligence, they will not be in a position to do. Some commentators in Bhagavad Gita also says, worship of demigods can reach the Supreme Lord. But in this particular verse, if you see, it is clearly stated, worshippers of demigod go to different planetary system, various demigods are situated. Just as a worshipper of a sun will go to the sun planet, worshipper of moon can go to the moon planet, or if he's worshipping Indra, he will go to the planet of Indra. So, but these people cannot go to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the planet of it. That is denied here. For clearly stated, worshipper of demigod go to the different planets in this material world. But the devotee of the Supreme Lord goes directly to the Supreme Planet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Goloka or Vaikunta. It is explained by the Lord himself. Na dat pashyate suryo na sashanko sapavaka yad gatvana nivartante taddama paramam mama. Bhashyate, eliminate with the Surya, sun, not eliminate with the sun or moon, nor electricity. Those who are going, they will nanivartante, they will not come back. Taddama is paramamama. Lord says, that is my abode. The supreme abode of mine is not illuminated by the sun or moon, nor by the fire or electricity. Those who reach there never return back to this material world. Here we can raise a point also that demigods are different part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, body of the Supreme Lord. Then they should be achieved by worshipping them. Same thing can be achieved. However, worshippers of demigods are not so intelligent because they don't know what part of the body the food must be supplied. Some of them so foolish, they claim there are many parts and we can supply in any of the part. That is not correct. Can anyone supply food to the body through the ears or eyes? Not possible. They do not know these demigods are different parts of material body of the Supreme Lord. And their ignorance, they believe that each and every demigod is a separate god and competitor for the Supreme Lord. That's not correct. Not only the demigods are a part and parcel of the Lord, ordinary living entities also the part and parcel of it, stated in Srimad Bhagavatam also. Brahmanas are the head, Kshatriyas are the arms, Vaishyas are the waist, Sudras are the legs, and all serve different functions regardless of the situation. If one knows that both demigods and himself are part and parcel of Supreme Lord, his knowledge is perfect. But if he does not understand this, he achieves different planets where the demigod resides. This is not the same destination of what devotees go. So the result achieved by demigods' benedictions are perishable, because within the material planets, the demigods and their worshippers are all perishable. Therefore, it is clearly stated in this verse that result achieved by worshipping demigods are perishable, and therefore such worship performed by the less intelligent living entity, because the pure devotee engaged in Krishna conscious in devotional service of Supreme Lord achieves the eternal blissful existence that is full of knowledge. His achievement is those of common worshipper and demigods are different. Devotees' achievement and demigod worshipper achievements are different. The Supreme Lord is unlimited. His favor is unlimited. His mercy is unlimited. Therefore, the mercy of Supreme Lord upon a pure devotee is unlimited. So, the very clear statement, Antavattu palam tesham, the pala, Antavattu palam, that one gets by worship of Devata or the Antavat is temporary. Tat bhavati alpamedasham. So, who aspires for this actual, who is alpamedasha? Medasha is intelligence, and alpa is little less or not much. Those who are less intelligent, devan devo yajayanti. Those who worship devatas go to devatas. Mad bhakta yanti mamapi. And those who worship me come back to me, as Sri Krishna is telling over here. So, in this way, he is explaining different kind of worships, different levels of worship. So, antavattu palam tesham. So, demigods are temporary. Demigods abode are temporary. Demigods worshippers, they themselves are temporary. As a soul, they are eternal. But the attainment which they get as long as they are existing in this material world, everything is temporary. Our bodily existence is temporary. So, demigod worshippers, when they are elevated, what is the ultimate fruit they can get, even if they elevated? The ultimate fruit they get is by the mercy of Supreme God is somehow they get elevated from demigod worship to the worship of Supreme Lord. That is the ultimate blessing they can get. And instead of Sakama, they will get a Niskama, the worship of Supreme Lord. Otherwise, at the material level, the benefits that they can get, and if they move from materialistic consciousness to the pious materialistic consciousness, that's all. And they may go to the demigods abode and they live with the demigods, but that also not permanent. The demigod abode themselves are temporary. So even if they attain those abode, they live there temporarily, and quite often they will be not attain those abodes, because today, especially when people perform demigod worship, they don't know. They don't even do with the proper scriptural rules or regulations. Everything require proper regulations, even for worship of demigods. So, tam niyam ayastani astayami. What is the meaning? That is a nemam. All the regulations which is follow, they will have to follow those niyams fully with the rules faithfully. So, even the demigod worship has to be done with the rule and regulations. What to speak about Supreme Lord? Now, the rules and regulations for demigod worship may be different from worship of Supreme Lord, or even among the demigods, there may be so many different type of worship will be there. So, we can see in India today that, example, Ganesha ji, and such a worship is going on, people playing movie songs. And in the Pandal, so many people will stand there and dance, because their whole idea is that the kind of religious practice, it is a kind of entertainment. They feel that's an entertainment. It's not a worship. People are coming to Ganesha ji for entertainment and hearing the music and songs. Actually, this is a complete misunderstanding. Demigod worship should also be done for glorification of the demigod. Ultimately, one should worship the Supreme Lord. But if you are worshipping the demigods, then we should glorify the demigod in the worship. The best way to glorify the demigod is to glorify the demigod as a devotee of the Supreme Lord. How to glorify him? Sivashtakam by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sorry. Where the Lord Shiva is glorified as a devotee of Supreme Lord. But if one doesn't do that kind of glorification, at least he should worship demigod and glorify him as per power of the demigod. How to glorify him as a devotee of the Lord? Vaishnavanam ida Sambhu. Sambhu is the greatest Vaishnava. That what way we can pray. But today, even that is not done. The demigod image must be there for actually one may be singing movie song, and maybe in the morning till they may do a arati properly, but all other things they will do it very vague way. Lord has said, if someone worship him for material motive, from there to full surrender takes many lifetime. Even for Lord worshippers, if it is for the motive of material, it takes a long time to reach the Supreme Lord. So what to speak about demigod worship? Material motives to surrender to Krishna will take so much of long time. So we should encourage this as a devotee. What we should do when we get an opportunity in the forum, we should not hurt the people's feeling, those who are worshipping the demigods, but we can guide them properly. And in the people were uninformed. Because they are uninformed, they don't know something wrong over there. So we can gently but gravely explain, if they wanted to worship demigod, the best way is to glorify them as a servant of Krishna. This is the real preaching, care for the world. So we'll have to take up that type of preaching to the people who are not having faith in, their faith in demigod, not in faith in the Supreme Lord. That is what Lord is telling here. It is not that all lead to the same result. If someone is worshipping demigod, it is not that by worshipping demigod, people will go back to Krishna. It is very clearly Krishna says, Devan Deva Yajoyanti. Those who worship Devatas will go back to Devatas. Amadbhaktama Yanti Mamapi. Those who worship me will come back to me. And because attaining me is eternal attainment. All other attainment is a temporary attainment. That's why Krishna is saying, Alpamedasham. Those who worship Devatas are less intelligent. So this Alpamedasham can be contrasted by Bhagavad Gita is telling. So what should be? Alpamedasham say, better way is Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavaman Pradatyate Vasudevam Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlabaha. What is it? Bahunam Janmanamante. After many birth and death, you who actually in knowledge surrender unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is, such a great soul is very rare. Jnanavan. So, who are the Jnanavan? They surrender unto me. That's what Krishna says. And he also says, immediately in the next verse, Kamaistaitar Hridajnana Prapatyante Anya Devata Tam Niyamam Ashtasya Pragatyanayata Sevaya. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desire, surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own nature. The living entity, while executing devotional service or transcendental rituals after many births, may actually become situated in the transcendental pure knowledge that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal of spiritual realization. In the beginning of spiritual realization, there may be some attachment or some leaning towards impersonalism, but one further advance, he can understand that there are activities in spiritual life and these activities constitute devotional service. Realizing, he become attached to Supreme Personality of Godhead and surrender unto him. At such a time, one can understand that Lord Krishna's mercy is everything. That he is the cause of all causes. And that this material manifestation is not independent from him. He realizes that material world is to be perverted reflection of the supreme variegatedness, and realizes that everything there is relationship with the Supreme Lord Krishna. Thus he thinks that everything in relation to Vasudeva or Sri Krishna, such a universal vision of Vasudeva precipitates one's full surrender to the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, as the highest goal. Such surrender, great souls are very rare. 1 minute, Krishna. Vasudevam Sarvamiti Mahatma Sudurlabaha. Very rare. So, Lord's position, it's in Seteshwara Upanishad, if you see, Sagassashirasa Purusha, Sagastashu Sagassapad, Shabhumim Vishadovita, Tvavyata Tatangulam, Purusha Evatam Sarvam, Yadbhutam Yachabbayam, Utmatta Tachyachano Yattanena Tirohati. Lord Vishnu has thousands of hands, thousands of heads, thousands of eyes, and thousands of feet, entirely encompassing the whole universe. He still extends beyond by 10 fingers breadth. He is, in fact, this entire universe. He is all that was and all that will be, and he is the Lord of the immortality and all that is nourished by the food. It was stated. To substantiate that, Sandokya Upanishad say, Na vaivacho naya sachumtina shrotani na mansanti achakate prana iti evakshare pranahai evatani sarvani bhavanti. In the body of the living being, neither the power to speak, nor the power to see, nor the power to hear, nor the power to think is the main factor. It is life which is the center of all the activities. Others are not important factors. Similarly, Lord Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is the prime entity in everything. In this body, there are powers of speaking, seeing, hearing, mental activities, etc. But these are not important if it's not related to the Supreme Lord. If it is related to Supreme Lord, then it's okay. And because Vasudeva is all pervading and everything is Vasudeva, the devotee is surrendered in full knowledge to them. 1 minute, direction. Lord says, of those one who is full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotion service is the best. For I am very dear to him and he is dear to me. Tesam jnani nitya yukta eka bhakti vishishyate. Priyahai jnanino athatam ahamcha mam priyaha. On the other hand, Kami Saitar Hita Jana. The knowledge is stolen away by the material desire. If someone can say that knowledge is stolen away, but still we can worship Devadas, Devas, did not get into sinful activities for fulfillment of the material desire, they can think about it. That is a good, but have some medasa. That is medasa. What it is when they are doing it, that medasa is alpa medasa. It is not very great because they are not aspiring for eternal. They are aspiring for temporary things. Only devan deva yajoyanti. So those who worship devadas, it is less intelligent. For a human being who is capable of attaining eternal result, seeing something temporary, he is setting for less. When one can get so much greater, but one chooses to settle down for a small thing, what is a type of attainment it is? Say, if you are joining IITs, Indian Institute of Technology, for what? If he doesn't think about how I can get a bright career, how think about how I can become a big man or a great engineer or something like that. If he's joining IT and searching the hostels, which hostel I will get the best food? Which hostel, which mess is the good one, which is a terrible and which is a great one? Like that, if you go on check for it, you are not justifying the way you joined IIT. You are after the food. You should be after a great career, is it not? So even animals are taking care of the material side of. So we have to raise to higher level of understanding. We have to raise to the level of understanding that there is a spiritual side of our life, and that one should be that should be our primary focus. And when we understand that and focus on that, then we get eternal results. As long as we focus on material side, we get only temporary result. That is the Alpamedasha. Transcendental knowledge in relation with Supreme Lord Hari is a knowledge resulting in complete suspension of the waves of the whirlpools of material mode. Such knowledge is self-satisfying due to it being free from material attachment and being transcendental. It is approved by authorities. One who fails to, who will fail to get attracted by that. So in Bhagavad Gita 10:9, the characteristics of a pure devotee, it is explained. Wonderfully, it is explained. Madhita Madgata Prana Bodayandaste Parasparam Katayanta Mam Nityam Tushyantacha Ramantacha. The thought of my pure devotee dwell in me, and their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. The complete functional activity of a pure devotee are always engaged in service of the Lord. And thus, the pure devotee exchange feeling of ecstasy between themselves and relish transcendental bliss. Tushyanticha, Ramanticha. This transcendental bliss is experienced even in the stage of a devotional practice. That is sadhana avastha. Even that time, you will get that bliss. If properly undertaken under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master and in a mature stage, the developed transcendental feeling culminates into realization of the particular relationship with the Supreme Lord. It can be different type of this thing, like different conjugal love, type of relationship with the Supreme Lord we can realize. That is called Kaivalya. Jiva Goswami quotes Vedic version, Eko Narayano Deva Paravarananam Parama Ashte Kaivalya Samajina. In this connection, Narayana's personality of Godhead is known as Kaivalya, and the means which enables one to approach Lord is called Kaivalya Pantha. The means in which one can approach the Supreme Lord. Lord is called Kaivalya. Kaivalya Pantha is the means in which we can approach the Supreme Lord. The Kaivalya Pantha began with the Shravanam. Hearing those topics relate to the personality of Godhead, and natural consequence of hearing such Harikatha is attainment of transcendental knowledge, which causes detachment from all mundane topics, for which a devotee has to taste at all. Normal, this taste will come only by hearing. For a devotee, all mundane activities, social and political, become unattractive once if he involved in this. And the mature state, such a devotee become uninterested even in his own body. What to speak about bodily relatives? Okay, when you are so attached to the this thing, Kaivalya Pantha path, to the Supreme Lord, then nothing will be attracting to you, including your own body. In such a state of air, it is not agitated by the waves of material mood. There are different modes of material nature and mundane function in which common man is very much interested, or which he takes a part become unattractive for the devotee. Common man may be interested in something, but for devotee, that will not be attractive. So, the first class devotee of Lord attains the stage by devotional service. But despite of his loftiness, the Lord's satisfaction, he may play the voluntary part of preacher of the Lord's glory and devotile all into devotional service. Even mundane interest, just to give a neophyte chance to transform mundane interest into transcendental bliss. This is a Yukta Vairagya, what we call it as. Srila Rupa Goswami has described this action of a pure devotee as a Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha Yuktam Vairagyam Uchate. Even the mundane activities devoted with the service of the Lord, and it made into a transcendental or Kaivalya affair. It can be approved Kaivalya affair. See, we had seen Hiranyakasipu desired to lord over all the three worlds, which caused him to perform all the abominable activities, including to kill his own son, Prahlad Maharaj. Is it not? Ravana, his material desire, burnt the entire Lanka, killed his dear brother, and brought all the infamy aspects to him. Indra spent his life as a pig, forgetting his real great position attached to his pig family, and reminded by Narada Muni, luckily he got a real, on his real position, luckily he got a escape. Guru Maharaj challenges to get the higher opulence, material opulence, than his grandfather Brahma. By the will of Supreme Lord, all are properly dissipated and he became a pure devotee. Bharat Maharaj leaving all the opulence of life and get attached to the deer, causing him a rebirth as a deer. What all these things shows us? Whatever we do, whatever we connect, whatever we speak, whatever we see, to be devoted to a connection to the Supreme Lord. There should be some connection, and that will give the consciousness of the Lord in everything. And we are just temporarily playing our role here, that we should understand. Keep this in our mind. We should perform all the activities in connection with the Supreme Lord. Then we will be freed of all the threefold miseries. So, yat karoshi, yat yajnashi, yat juhoshi, tatadhi yat tapasyashi kaunteya, tat kurushva mattarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, and an offering to me, Lord says. Yat karoshi, yat tashnasi, yat juhoshi, tatadhi yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurushva mattarpanam. To do this, we will have to remember and connect ourselves to the Lord always by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is the Mahamantra we will have to chant, and always in the, that also not in an ordinary way. It should be very concentratedly. We will have to stand, and in a humble state of mind, as stated in this thing, Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarorahit Sagishnuna, Amanina Manajena, Kirtaniya Sadahari, without expecting any respect, but at the same time, give all the respect to all others. In the state of mind, humbler than a blade of grass, tolerant than a tree, you should chant the name of the Supreme Lord. So, that is the only thing which can deliver us from all these things. So, we had seen here from the beginning how Bharat Maharaj, because such a great emperor who got all the great achievement, he was ruling the entire world. Due to attachment to a deer, Bharat Maharaj, and he started lay down with it, walking with it, and always surrounded by it. And even when he is going for collecting some kusha grass, flower, wood, leaves, or fruit, that time also he is thinking, oh, some animals will come and kill my deer, so I want to be with it. So in that way, he is thinking and he is following that. So then in the last, he was thinking about the deer and he is giving up his body. So Lord correctly says all these things. So we'll have to follow all that. Yam yam vapi param smavam tejite ante kalevaram. Whatever state of one remembers when he quits his body, son of Kunti, the state will attain without fail. So this is the challenge. We'll have to start from our young age, start from our eligible age. We will have to remember the Lord. Remembering is only by glorifying the Lord, by chanting his name, form, all these pastimes. Whenever you do that, then we will be in a position to do it. Remember the Lord and go. That also it is indicated. There are Alpamedasam, the people with a lesser intelligence, they will be doing it with because they don't have the information about the Supreme Lord. They got the information about Devadas. If you do the Vaibhava Lakshmi, it will give you will get money. If you go and praise to Saraswati, you will get education. If you go to some Supreme Lord, you will get a good wife. Somebody, you will get a good husband. So many things are there all around them. Demigod worships also. That also it is not done properly. Not as it was indicated to you by that example of Ganesha festivals. When you see the Ganesha festival, what it happens? Most of the time they will put some film song, Hindi film songs or something, and they will dance. But is this the worship? Worship means you will have to glorify Ganesha, glorify you. At least you glorify Ganesha. Then only you will be in a position to do proper this thing. Even if you worship Ganesha, where you will go? You will go to the abode of Ganesha. You will not go to the supreme abode where there is no return. Yeah, yadgatvana nivartante taddama paramamama. Where it is? That is that Supreme Lord's abode. If when you go, you will not come back. But all other places, wherever you go, you will have to come back. So you should understand, even in spite of that, all these demigods are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Even we ourselves, like a Kshatriya, Shudra, Vaishya, Brahmana, all we are part and parcel of Supreme Lord. But that doesn't approve us. Oh, we can worship this so that we can go to this thing. Okay. So if you do that, that's like antavat, temporary. That is all these alpamedasham. The people are less intelligent. So understanding all these things, we should follow a proper path. We have our Mahaprabhu has given us a proper this thing, way how we can reach the Supreme Lord. And that type of very rare. We understand it is very, very rare. It is not that easy that you can reach the Supreme Lord. Bahunam janmanamante yanavamam prabhatyate vasudevam sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabhaha. Very, very difficult. But still, our efforts, practice makes a man perfect. So that, see, we should stand the glories of the Supreme Lord. Always remember the Supreme Lord. And all the great acharyas you remember, right? So we will should not dilute our intention to some other thing. It's like I have given an example of IIT when we are joining for engineering. If we are looking for a best hostel to take a proper great food, which hostel having lunch, is that the important thing, or getting into IIT for a great career is important? So we will have to understand that thought. So always we will have to be in the remembrance of the thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then only we will get into the real mood of happiness. That matsitta matgata prana bodhayandaste parasparam kadayanta mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So that way we can understand we can feel the kaivalya, that Kavilya Panta, that path of a proper realization, we will get it. So we will achieve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So keeping all these things, we should understand from all these great personality. So we'll have to do whatever we do, whatever we think about it, it should be circling around the Supreme Lord. Yat karoshi yat yachnasi, yat jugoshi tadasiyat, yat tapasasi kaunteya, tat kurusha mat arpanam. Yeah, offering to me, Lord says. So all the activities will have to central round the Supreme Lord, so that we will not be getting to any problem. All these stories, like Bharat Maharaj stories, Hiranyakashipu stories, Duru Maharaj stories, Ravana story, everything should be centered us to one feeling, that we will have to, in a humble state of mind, Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarorahi Sagishna Amanina Manadana, Kirtaniya Sadahari. Kirtaniya Sadahari is the only path which is available to us. We got a wonderful facility available. Our temple, always we can come from morning till night. We can go on, sing about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I will try to end here. Om Tat Sat. If any clarifications or any advice to me or any suggestions to me, please, I am very happy to hear all that. Thank you. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Murali, Murari Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Thank you very much for a very clear classes. I think there are several points that you indicated, Prabhuji. Some of them are very, very important points, sir. Ante Narayana Smriti. So if somebody have to remember the Lord at the end of the life, they have to do that throughout their lifetime. Then Krishna will give the remembrance. And also you mentioned with a very good example of what is the objective of going to IIT to study and get a better career. And if you go to IIT and loiter around the campus without focusing on the goal, then we will be missing the opportunity. Similarly, we attain this form of life, and our objective is to think about the Lord, glorify the Lord. And also, you mentioned the various aspects of a demigod worship. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for a very nice class. Please unmute your line and share your comments or reflections that you may have. lines are unmuted. You can.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandvat Pranam.
Hare
Thanks for
Krishna.
the wonderful class, Prabhu.
Hare
Can you
Krishna.
please tell what is Kaivalya and what is Kaivalya? You can explain.
Panta. Kaivalya is Supreme Lord. Himself is called Kaivalya. Narayana is called Kaivalya. Kaivalya Panta is the path in which you can go. The things which you follow to reach the Supreme Lord, that's called Kaivalya Panta.
It is not liberation, Prabhu. Kaivalya.
It is Kaivalya is liberation in one way, liberation to the Supreme Lord. So Kaivalya, it is indicated in the scriptures as mentioned by Srila Prabhupada. It is Kaivalya is the Supreme Lord himself.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams, Prabhu.
Hare
Thanks for the wonderful class.
Hare
Prabhu, I remember reading that phrase, Kaivalya Narakayate.
Hmm.
So what is it, Prabhu?
Just now I said, Kaivalya. I really don't know what is that, in which reference to what you are asking. But Kaivalya in this particular context, as explained by Srila Prabhupada, it is Kaivalya is the Supreme Lord. Kaivalya Panta is the path in which you are taking to the Supreme Lord. That is, Panta is the procedures what you are following, path in which you are selecting to reach the Supreme Lord.
Thank you, Prabhu. Different context, we have to take different names.
No.
Okay. Thank you so much,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Dandavat.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Radha.
Share about devotion. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Any other comments or reflections from the devotees?
Any suggestions?
Prabhuji, I think there are no questions, Prabhuji.
Haribol.
So thank you very much, Prabhuji. I think we can end the session with the Vaishnava Pranam.
Vanchakalpataruvasya kripa sindhupye vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo nandakoti vaishnavi ki jai.
Thank you, devotees. I will be ending the Zoom session now. Thank you.
Dandavat Pranam.